Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Poultry Network Podcast. My name is Tom Willings.
And I'm Tom Woolman.
Perfect, thank you, Tom. And today we're talking turkey. It's exciting. We never talk about turkey. Today we're going to talk about the recent years, the stats and consumption. We'll take a bit of a read on why turkey is such a great diversification option, and not just a way of generating an additional income for a farm, but also a fantastic way of connecting with a community, a local community, people understanding exactly where their food has come from. But in the year ahead, turkey's also got a big milestone coming up. So our guest this week is going to know far more about this than I. So Tom.
Our guest this week is Paul Kelly. Paul is the second generation leader of Kelly's Turkey, which is famed, of course, for pioneering the slow-growing free-range KellyBronze turkey. He's got himself an honorary doctorate from the University of Essex in recognition of his contributions to agriculture. And he's the newly elected master of the Worshipful Company of Poulters, which I do take a bit of an interest in because my surname is Woolman, and there is also a Worshipful Company of Woolman as well. So, I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to choose at this stage. Paul is a passionate advocate for high welfare farming. He holds Guinness World Records for the fastest turkey carving and plucking. So we'll ask him if he's got any further plans for new world records. His commitment to heritage breeds, sustainable practices, and premium product ranges underpins Kelly Turkey's reputation, both in the UK and abroad. Welcome, Paul, to the Poultry Network podcast.
Hello, Tom and Tom. Great to see you.
Great to have you with us. World records, is that 2 world records?
Yeah,
or is that just the same?
No, that's 2. I set 2 world records 2 years apart. They were. First one, Gordon Ramsay challenged me to break the world record for plucking turkeys. So I'm officially the fastest plucker on the planet for turkeys.
You've got to be careful how you say that.
I'm very careful, but I'm very good at it. I'm practiced. And then 2 years later, I set a world record for carving a turkey. So I'm the fastest turkey plucker, and I'm the fastest turkey carver. 2 Guinness World Records.
Yeah. Congratulations. What's the third?
I don't know. We have thought about it. The obvious one's to eat it, isn't it? We plucked it, we carved it, and now we're going to eat it. Set the Guinness World Record for eating a turkey, but that's a tough one. How big it's got to be, and can I really eat a whole turkey?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There are some extremely fast speed eaters, aren't there? Out there,
voracious carnivores. Yeah.
It might be the last thing you do, Paul.
That's probably it. I'll blow up. Exactly.
We just wanted to talk a little bit, Paul, or start off by framing the big picture, what it's been like for turkey producers over the past couple of years. Of course, you were really at the forefront in terms of some of the labour challenges that were around a couple of years ago. I know you were very prominent in talking to the media about how that was affecting seasonal turkeys. And also with avian influenza, that's been a real challenge, hasn't it? And again, you've been advocating for the use of vaccines and how that might be able to benefit the industry. So, with all these challenges, the numbers of producers have declined, haven't they, over the years since the heyday in the mid 1990s? So, what's really helping Kelly's as a business to buck the trend and continue to thrive?
Yeah, well, like you say, first, in the past 5 years, we've had the perfect storm. Brexit and the challenge of labour. That was number one. We had a lot of our seasonal workers. Great team would come back to work with us year in, year out. Suddenly, it's not that they couldn't come back because a lot of them had settled status, but they just felt they weren't welcome anymore. And so we lost a lot of our seasonal labour. And the good managers we had, the seasonal managers, 1 or 2 of those went because, like I say, there wasn't a future for them in the UK. So, hell of a challenge. We seem to have overcome it, and we use agency labour now. But going forward, it's still, I would say, our number one challenge as a seasonal business is getting good quality seasonal labour. So that was there. And then, of course, avian influenza came along in 2022. 2021 was there, but 2022, we lost 87,000 turkeys. It was. I don't often worry. I'm not a worrier by nature. I always look on the upside, but I did have a few sleepless nights. In October 2022, November.
Yeah.
It was
because really, when I've done seasonal turkeys. In fact, a couple of years ago, Yes, I had a winter where I didn't have much work on, and I thought, right, I'm going to get out and gut some turkeys, and got on and did it, and earned myself a bit of cash. So and actually, it's good fun. It's hard work, but it's good fun. But it made me appreciate as well. Actually, it is for a lot of smaller farming businesses, mixed farming businesses, doing some turkeys at Christmas is a really important thing for their business to do and to be able to sustain. And I think the threat of AI has just ramped up those pressures on those businesses.
You're absolutely right, and it's one of those. Poultry is one of those few species you can slaughter on farm and sell from the farm. You don't have to go through an EU license or a UK licensed abattoir. You can slaughter poultry on the farm and get straight to the final consumer, and it's profitable. There's no doubt it will be the highest margin. Maybe eggs at the moment are doing pretty good, but other than that, growing Christmas turkeys and selling from the farm gate is incredibly high margin. But to do it, there's a skill set that comes with that, and that's growing the turkeys and then plucking them and eviscerating them, and there is work to do. But we sell 2,000 turkeys from the farm gate. Our average butcher shop sells 250 turkeys.
Wow.
And that should of course be totally flipped. The butcher shop's got the footfall in the high street, it's got the location, it's got the passing trade, all that. We're a once a year destination.
So Paul, has AI diminished the appetite of farms to grow seasonal turkey, or is it remain undimmed?
No, I mean, there's no doubt about it. That put people off. We're serving a lot less customers from the hatchery side of our business, farmers. Because of that, I think avian put them off. Avian flu definitely put them off. And then we do have succession. And the reality is that growing Christmas turkeys is profitable, but it's hassle, it's worry. Like Tom said, I love it. I get a real kick out of you growing those turkeys, you're plucking them and you're getting, selling them and you're getting
I am missing out. Honestly, I thought we were producing quite a niche product here with this podcast and Tom describing the fun that there was to be had to go and gut some turkeys. And I realise I'm the odd one out on this.
Yeah. Some people don't call it fun. I do, you see. I mean, and that's the problem, of course. A lot of the younger generation, maybe they don't want to pluck turkeys and it's hassle. And the other challenge, of course, is that turkey shed that is sitting there can get rented out at, 4 or 5 quid a square foot all year round without having to do anything. So that diversification on farms, that hasn't helped the cause. But I do still maintain that it is one of the most profitable farming enterprises on a mixed farm. That is for sure. And if you have that, if you want to get out and meet the local community and do a few open days on the farm, that customer will come to your farm to buy the Christmas turkey. We have now 3 generations of people coming to the farm to collect the turkey. We've got Santa Claus here. We've got mulled wine, cider, sausage rolls. We've got music going. We make it so Christmas begins when they come to the farm to collect their turkey. And we've worked really hard at it. And we do really, really well out of it.
Yeah. As a food event, Christmas is special enough. If you can bring that event forward and make an event of the procurement of the stuff that goes on the table, then absolutely amazing. And of course, it's
that experience. When they come to the farm, the experience they get of Christmas is second to none. Yeah, it really is.
A celebration of turkey, but it's not the only one because there's another one coming. Is that right?
Yes, 2026 has been this. We've been keeping our powder dry for a few years, but 2026 next year is the big one.
Okay, tell us about it.
500th anniversary of turkey arriving to our shores. The guy William Strickland brought turkeys into Bristol Port in 1536, and he's 1566, I should say. 1536. Yeah, 26.
1526.
I've got to get that right. No, I've got to get that right. 1526.
Edit, don't worry. We'll edit that.
1526. And then it was Henry VIII really put turkey on the map. He cooked a turkey at Hampton Court where it was recorded, and it replaced the peacock and the swan in the royal courts. So there's a great story to tell. And next Wednesday, actually, we're just filming a television teaser to put out to do a 3-part documentary on the history of the turkey. And Jimmy Doherty, we're going to be walking some turkeys. Of course. Yeah, we're going to be walking some turkeys along a country lane and down some old drovers' routes and camping overnight and living as drovers did with the turkeys. There were 250,000 turkeys walked. In their peak, in the mid-1700s, 250,000 turkeys were walked from the grain fields of Anglia to the London markets. It's a hell of a feat. So, no, and we're going to demonstrate, of course, turkey's Christmas Day's turkey. Of course it is. We're going to be pushing that whole bird roast and having a traditional feast on the family table. But a turkey isn't just for Christmas. It is an incredibly flexible meat and should be eaten year round an awful lot more than it is.
Yeah.
And the huge, it must be huge potential with the drive for protein, lean meat, healthy eating, whole cooking, all of the kind of reversal of the last 30, 40, 50 years of, quick convenience, slap it in the oven, don't really know where it's come from. If as we reconnect with food and what it's doing to us, turkey surely should stand a decent chance of winning a share of the plate.
It absolutely should, and it does. If you go to mainland Europe, their consumption of turkey is way ahead of us. I think probably the biggest challenge we have in the UK is the turkey production is in the hands and owned by chicken companies. Now, chicken doesn't have to do any marketing. Chicken sells itself. It's the go-to protein when it comes to price. So they're not really interested in promoting turkey and all the benefits of it, because they see it, well, if you don't have turkey, you're going to have chicken. So we win either way. But turkey isn't a chicken, and it is so much more. It's more like veal, it's more like lamb, it's got dark meat, it's got white meat. It needs to be promoted and pushed in a totally different way. And a shining example of this is Russia. Russia actually next year will be the second biggest producers of turkey in Europe, and that's from a standing start about 15, 20 years ago. And the key to their success is unbelievable how they've succeeded. And the key to that success is they haven't pitched themselves against chicken. They pitched themselves against more luxury meats like beef and lamb and, the top end of pork. That's where they're competing. Because the challenge is, of course, turkey doesn't compete with chicken on price anymore. It used to 30 years ago, but the money that has gone into the research and development of chicken, because it's such a huge market, has made, we all know the food conversions of 1.4 and the growth rate. Chicken is the cheapest meat you can get now. Turkey can't compete on price, but it absolutely can compete on versatility. You're talking about a veal. You can't make a veal steak out of chicken. You can out of turkey. So you can't get the dark meat, you can't get the mince, you can't get the steaks and everything.
With what's going on in Russia,
fantastic at that.
Yeah, what's going on in Russia is that are those more commercial birds, or are they growing? Do they have a market for slower growing birds as well?
No, they are all commercial turkeys, and they've totally started it. And anything they don't call it, they're called turkey steaks. They're not called turkey breast scallops. They're turkey steaks, and they've got turkey shanks. Yeah, they've got turkey salamis. They've totally pitched it away from chicken. They don't call it anything a chicken is. Yeah, so and of course. It is cheaper than beef and it is cheaper than lamb. So, a great, they position themselves in the market in absolutely the perfect point. It's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've got to do in the UK. The problem is we've got a lot of baggage and history of competing with chicken. We've got to transform ourselves and compete more on the salmon and the top end of the fish market as well. That's where we need to be.
I can think of no better advocate for the poultry industry as a whole, but of course the turkey industry, you're synonymous with the whole thing. And if you're on the television as well, when do your episodes with Jimmy, when do they air?
Well, I don't know. We're doing a teaser at the moment. It's a teaser to put. They've shown an interest, several channels, so we're filming a teaser just to show them what it's all about.
Understood.
It's hard in television now. Those platforms are so diverse. It's hard to get a commission.
Yeah, we will keep our ear to the ground. You'll have to keep us posted.
But whatever we film, there'll be lots of snippets on Instagram. I can tell you that.
Because I was going to say, Paul, you've always had a bit of a flair for showmanship. To your credit, to the credit of your business, and to the credit of I think the poultry industry more widely. We all benefit from that when you're on the telly talking about turkey. We could do with more advocates within the industry to talk about what we're doing. And I think traditionally there's been a lot of people that have wanted to just keep their heads down because they're worried that it makes them targets. What would your advice be to people who are thinking of engaging more in the media and talking about what happens in the poultry industry?
First of all, don't think like that. Because if I do look back, you go back 30 years when we just launched our free-range bronze turkey. Yes, we had a story to tell. But the big thing is the media would phone us up. And I was desperate to sell our turkeys. Can we come and visit the farm? Of course you can come. I'll pick you up when do you want to come, tomorrow, this afternoon, and taking them around the business and showing them everything. Showing them the insemination, killing a turkey, plucking a turkey, cooking a turkey, taking them through that whole farming chain so they fully understand it. And I think that, and now if that same, it's not so bad now. It really isn't. But if that same phone call 30 years ago had gone to the boardroom of the big integrators, there would be panic in the boardroom the media want to come and see what we do.
Yeah.
And they want to have, what are we going to do? And they'll phone a PR agency in London to try and put them off. And ultimately, it would say no. Well, if you say no to the media, I'm not willing to show you my farm. What are the implications of that? What are the implications of that? They just have to think there's something bad going on. And I think, and I have always had the acid test as a business growing for your customer. If you're not willing to show your customer, what you're doing, you have to ask yourself a question. Now, of course, there's been a lot of disconnect with, you've got the farmer at one end, you've got the processor, and right in the middle is the supermarket. The supermarket's beating up the supplier, the processing plant, on price. So the processing plant goes to the farmer and says, we need it cheaper. So you do. And of course, we're not doing anything wrong. As an industry, not just Kelly Turkeys, I talk the industry, we are producing what our customer wants, which is cheap, good, honest protein. Right? That's it. And we have to be far more open about what we do and how we do it. And I think those doors are opening. And I'm a big, the most intensive broiler units in the UK are an absolute marvel. They are fantastic. Yeah, they really are. The science behind that and the welfare is fantastic. It's not, free range isn't the be all and end all. That's what we do as a business. That's just where we positioned ourselves. But as an industry generally, we can be really, really proud of what we do. And there's not enough of that showing the public.
I think some of the developments that we've got with technology and social media actually really puts the power back in the hands of the producers a little bit to be able to share their stories, to be able to show what they do, and and showcase some of the good things that go.
And judging the Poultry Awards this year, it's just music to my ears when you hear guys that are building brand new units. They're putting viewing galleries in, so the public can come around and see their farms and walk through their farm and their chicken sheds. How wonderful is that? Yeah. And I will never forget, people, there was a big thing on artificial insemination. It's cruel. Several years ago, they'd say turkey. It was the welfarists, of course, the animal lobby groups. They were saying they can't even mate naturally. So the Guardian phoned up, can we come have a look at the turkey who's been inseminated? Of course you can. The advice to me from the industry PR was don't show them a thing, Paul. Right? Just don't say no, you're not willing to show them. Well, they came down to the farm and we had such a laugh milking these stags and inseminating their hens. There's nothing wrong with it at all. They could see the stags were queuing up. They saw me coming. They're queuing up. They're just going to have a good time. Right? And we're going to take their semen and we're going to put it in the hens, and the hens are shaking their feathers and having an orgasm every time you put it into them. If you present your farm in a totally different, just open and honestly, because none of us do anything cruel to our animals at all. The press and the media want to see that. Now, you're always going to get people that want to bring you down. Of course you are. But you don't pander to that 1% when you can get to 99% that are genuinely good journalists and want to give a good spin on it. Right? Mm. And the only thing the public sees at the moment is the undercover cameras and all the shit, the crap that goes on, because we don't get out and promote all the good stuff that's going on and show the public all that amazing stuff that's going on in our industry. Those new units with viewing galleries going through, how wonderful are they going to be? Absolutely brilliant. Mm-hmm. I'm getting excited now, you can tell.
Well, I think any podcast where the word orgasm comes up is going straight to the top of the chart.
Are we going viral, Tom, on the back of that?
I'm sure it's nothing that Paul hasn't said before on.
No, it isn't. That's television. The sad thing. That's right. No.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Paul, thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Not at all. An absolute pleasure. Happy Christmas, everybody. That's the turkey gobble.